it's lights out, and away we go. And the two Mercedes get away well, but look at Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel, what a move going into turn one. Leads the Canadian Grand Prix. Rosberg gets pushed wide by Hamilton, and that's a really poor start for Nico Rosberg. Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo are going to come past him. Verstappen ahead of Ricciardo, and Fernando Alonso with a start. He is ahead of Nico Rosberg, who's down in 9th place, Paul.
Absolutely great reaction by Vettel. That is what Mercedes were scared of. You know, a Ferrari just making the jump, and it just looked like the Mercedes didn't go anywhere when they first released the clutch. But watch Rosberg comparison to the Red Bulls, and the Red Bulls were very similar to Rosberg. Obviously Rosberg slightly better than Hamilton. He was able to get alongside, but you're never going to go around the outside of him into turn one.
He was trusting his teammate, wasn't he? On board now with Kevin Magnussen and Felipe Nasser going into the chicane. Oh, and Nasser got spun round there by Magnussen. I wonder, will the stewards be looking at that?
And I think you just got to be a little bit more, you know, aware of what's happening.
Sebastian Vettel going through that final chicane, locking up. Jenson Button pulling over by the side of the back straight with a fire.
Down on power, guys, down on... Engine's gone.
And the virtual safety car has been deployed. Ted, down to you.
Second engine problem that Jenson Button's had this weekend, Crofty.
Yeah.
So really bad news for him, Paul Jenson. Ferrari coming in, is it Kimi?
So no, it's Sebastian Vettel, the race leader, is coming into the pits just as the virtual safety car ends. So the virtual safety car has now ended, the race has restarted, and Sebastian Vettel is making his pit stop. Off go the ultra soft tyres, on go the super soft tyres, and I just wonder, a two-stop strategy surely now from Ferrari.
They've slightly gained though, because I think the Mercedes was halfway down the pit straight as Sebastian was in the pits.
As the pace of that Ferrari really does look lightning, especially with DRS along that back straight. Sebastian Vettel is up into second place.
Vettel starting to be about 6/10 a lap quicker than Hamilton. When he gets there, I believe Hamilton will leave it out there until he gets a nice comfortable margin.
Hamilton comes into the pits for the next 45 laps on a set of soft compound tyres. And is Felipe Massa out of this race? Is he retiring from this race?
That was definitely wasn't a scheduled stop, because they were on a one stop ready to go to the end.
But as into the pits comes Nico Rosberg. Is this a bit of a gamble?
Okay, Nico, you've got a slow right rear puncture. Box, box, box.
Oh no, this is just going to compound what had already turned into a frustrating, disappointing afternoon for Nico Rosberg. It's going to compound his misery even further.
Ferrari looks like it's just going to be enough in front.
But there he goes, he's having a go under braking, Nico Rosberg. What a move from the championship leader. That was utterly fantastic from Nico Rosberg. The Ferrari has got great top-end speed at the end of that straight. Rosberg had to be late, had to be committed on the brakes, and he made that stick superbly well. And at the final corner, it is another lockup for Sebastian Vettel, who is getting shaken about a bit going over the grass creek, but I think he's probably shaking his head quite a lot. And his teammate, Kimi Räikkönen, has actually just done the same thing himself.
Rosberg with the DRS open, is he going to choose the inside or the outside? Verstappen's going to cover.
Well, Verstappen is pushing him round to the outside, and this time around under braking, Nico Rosberg makes a mistake. The championship leader makes a mistake. Can he keep the engine running? He can, and that will be the merest crumb of comfort to Nico Rosberg. He had one more go at Verstappen, it didn't quite work out. And while the championship leader has had his problems throughout this race, his teammate Lewis Hamilton comes around the final corner now to make it 5 Canadian Grand Prix victories as Hamilton wins in Montreal. Sebastian Vettel back on the podium for Ferrari.
Get in there, pal. Awesome race, mate. Awesome race.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That was for Mohammed, that was for Ali.
Tribute to the greatest from Lewis Hamilton.
And now, let the celebrations begin.
For Nico Hülkenberg and for Force India, a double points finish with Sergio Perez 10th and Hülkenberg finishing 8th, and a special mention, I think, to Carlos Sainz, who could be some people's driver of the day today, Paul, going from 20th on the grid to come home in 9th.
Today I had another really bad start. I'm not really quite sure why. I think probably overheated my clutch, but Sebastian and Nico got quite a good run down to turn 1. Tires are cold, big understeer, and feel very grateful that me and Nico didn't damage anything on our cars. And otherwise, after that, was just trying to chase this guy down. He was so quick out there, but the car felt fantastic. I think I got the setup just right with great work from the engineers and mechanics, and Hey man, I won my first Grand Prix here in 2007, so this is just, you know, just feels such a blessing.